Adam Smith's An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations, published in 1776, is widely regarded as the foundational text of modern economics. In this monumental work, Smith examines the mechanisms of economic growth, the role of markets, and the principles of wealth creation. Here's an in-depth analysis of the key themes, strengths, and limitations of the book. 1. Central themes: the division of labor. One of Smith's most celebrated concepts is the division of labor. He illustrates how breaking down production into specialized tasks increases efficiency and productivity. Example: the famous pin factory, where dividing the work among many workers allows thousands of pins to be produced daily, compared to a few if each worker made pins independently. Implication: specialization drives economic growth by improving output and reducing costs. The invisible hand. Smith introduces the idea of the invisible hand to describe how self-interest in a competitive market often leads to socially beneficial outcomes. By pursuing their own gain, individuals unintentionally contribute to the economic well-being of society. Markets, when left to function freely, allocate resources efficiently without the need for central planning. Free markets and limited government. Smith advocates for minimal government interference in the economy, emphasizing the role of free markets. The government's responsibilities are limited to defense, justice, and infrastructure. Excessive regulation, he argues, distorts markets and hinders growth. 2. Insights into economic systems. Value and wealth. Smith distinguishes between two types of value: value in use, the utility of a good; value in exchange, the amount it can be traded for. He ties wealth to the productive labor of a nation, arguing that a country's prosperity depends on its ability to produce and trade goods. Capital accumulation. Investment and saving are central to economic progress. By reinvesting profits into productive ventures, individuals and businesses stimulate innovation and growth. The role of trade. Smith is a strong proponent of free trade, criticizing mercantilism, the then dominant economic theory that prioritized hoarding wealth through trade restrictions. He argues that nations benefit from specialization and trade, as it allows them to focus on producing goods where they have an advantage. 3. Strengths of Smith's analysis: foundation of economic theory. Smith's ideas laid the groundwork for classical economics, influencing thinkers like Ricardo, Malthus, and Keynes. Practical insights. His observations on labor, trade, and markets remain relevant in discussions about economic policy and globalization. Moral perspective. Smith doesn't reduce economics to numbers. He emphasizes the importance of moral considerations and social welfare. 4. Limitations and critiques. Over-reliance on free markets. Critics argue that Smith underestimated the potential for market failures, such as monopolies, externalities, and inequality. Labor exploitation and bonds. While celebrating the division of labor, Smith overlooks its potential downsides, such as monotonous work and the alienation of workers. Historical context. Some of Smith's assumptions, such as a self-regulating economy, don't fully account for modern complexities like financial markets, globalization, and government intervention. 5. Legacy and modern relevance. Smith's principles continue to shape economic thought and policy. Capitalism and free markets. His work is the foundation of capitalist ideology, advocating for innovation and competition. Globalization. Smith's emphasis on trade aligns with today's interconnected economies. Policymaking. Governments use Smith's ideas to balance market freedom with regulation. At the same time, modern economists and policymakers build on Smith's work to address challenges like income inequality, environmental sustainability, and the digital economy. Conclusion. The Wealth of Nations is a timeless exploration of the forces driving economic prosperity. Adam Smith's insights into markets, labor, and trade remain as influential today as they were in the 18th century. While some ideas require reinterpretation in the modern context, his work serves as a foundation for understanding the principles of economic growth and societal welfare. Whether you agree with his advocacy for free markets or critique its limitations, engaging with the Wealth of Nations is essential for anyone interested in economics, history, or philosophy.